Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Four Ends the Foodie.
And we are back.
Back at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, it's very early and it's Sunday, so like if we sound a bit eesh, then that's why.
And there's no drinking, so...
Of course. Yeah. Well, I've got water.
I've got water.
Trying to get on to stay on that hydration shit.
Yeah, I've got a terrible migraine, so...
Bear with. So today's episode, my voice ain't even like waking up yet.
The voice ain't voicing. So today's episode is an episode from the Netflix series Surviving Death. It's the first episode called Near Death Experiences. Now, we covered the last episode about reincarnation in our episode 78. Mm-hmm. That's a really good episode, so I'll put the link in the show notes so you can listen to that. But yeah, this one, the documentary opens up in Jackson Hole, WI, which I'm assuming is Wyoming. Oh God, when I think of Wyoming, I just think of Kanye wanted to move Kim to Wyoming.
Can you imagine?
Please, she should have gone so we could all rest.
So the first person we meet is Mary Neal, who is an orthopedic spine surgeon. So she tells us that 20 years ago she died and she was dead for like a while, right? It's 1999 and she goes to Chile to kayak on a waterfall. That was her first mistake, but anyway, do what you love.
I didn't even, because it's white people shit.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I get like thrill, exhilaration, wanting to do things, but it's just when it comes to water, I'm just like, babe, like,
oh, that's not my thing.
You can't. Okay, so when we went to Italy, a couple months ago, this girl, and by this girl I mean Forenz, so we're on the boat, we're on the yacht, and then she jumps off into the ocean. You know, the ocean doesn't have a bottom. I don't think that was an ocean. It was an ocean. What was it?
I don't know what it was.
It was a large body of water.
It was a large body of water, but I don't know if it's...
It was giving ocean, yeah. Okay. And she just jumped. And she even had braids. This is how I know that people are mad. She just jumped into... And I literally, for a second, like, she didn't come up. Like, she was down. And then I was like, oh, my God. Like, who am I going to host this podcast with?
But we went to... I've done snorkeling. And I've done all of that.
I did snorkeling. I did snorkeling in Tanzania.
No, okay. Is it... Yeah, because
snorkeling is the one where you put your head in.
Yeah, but we went deep.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that was, but I still,
it wasn't just a
like the baby one.
No.
So you did something.
We were on a boat.
That's how you get to the water.
Yeah, no, we were on a boat and we were like in the middle of wherever. This was in St. Martin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we went to the middle and they were like, like there are loads of like fish here, like.
So you went like down.
Yeah, I went down. And my dad was like, oh, he's going to do it. That man was fighting with the water. He can't swim. So I don't know why he thought.
I can't swim, but when I went snorkeling, like, so it was just snorkeling. So like you're floating in the water and then your face is in it and you have a little breathing mask thing. So that's what I did.
I went down.
And like at first, when I went into the water, I was like hyperventilating. I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to die, but then because you have the breathing thing, like you have to control your breath because you can't just like... Do you know what I mean? So I was literally saying to myself, you better fucking relax right now, But then after that, after the initial fear, it was great. I literally, was like, this is remarkable. I can stay here forever. You're just like floating there, look at the little fishies, and then it's just like, the water's so blue. Oh, it was so great.
Honestly, call to Black people, teach your kids how to swim. This is, it's gone from the sublime to the ridiculous. Why people have this fear of water, like... I get it if you don't know why you can. I get it if you don't know how to swim, but
like, even if you can swim, I'm sorry, people die all the time. It's not about fearing water. Water is dangerous though inherently. Like even if you can swim,
getting in a car is dangerous.
Yeah, okay, but water you will drown. Yeah,
car you will crash.
No, but I don't think it's the same thing, man.
I think it's the same thing.
I don't think it's the same.
It's about knowing where to swim and how to swim. I think the fear of the water is the lack of knowledge of how to swim.
Of course, I get that. I get because being afraid of water.
I wasn't gonna drown in that where I jumped into. It was a still body of water. When people usually drown,
people can drown in a puddle, babe. Like literally, drowning is actually like terrifying. Even if you can swim, you can drown.
That's the point that I'm making. The people that can swim and tend to drown when there are like waves or obstructions or there's something pulling them down.
Yeah, but like or if they panic in the water.
Yeah, if you panic in the water.
Or if you have a medical emergency in the water.
Okay, yes. Same as if you have a heart attack in a car. Like, your car will crash, you'll probably die.
Of course, your car will crash, but I don't know. I would rather not drown.
I just think, let us all teach our kids how to swim, because this fear,
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. The fear comes from, I think you should be cautious about water, same way with anything. But
the fear goes away or reduces with knowing how to swim.
Know how to swim, the fear goes away. And that's what I'm saying. If people, like a lot of black people learn how to swim, we wouldn't be so afraid. Because I don't get why our parents, I know how to swim, but I don't get why parents did it. My mum threw me into the water at 3 months. And since then, I can't leave.
This is the thing. This is what you're meant to do. You're meant to do it as a child, and you don't like, especially because my parents, my dad is a great swimmer, my mum can't swim. There's no way her priority was, let me teach these girls how to swim or put them in water. And also when we were younger, she was like, I've just done these girls' hair, I don't know what their hair has to be. It literally was just dumb shit like that. But my kids are 100% are gonna
my
know
dad
how to swim.
Can't swim, but my mum can. And my dad can't swim because his mum had only one child, and she said it's not my child. That.
But again, that's their generation. Not being comfortable with.
But my mum, she used to go to Koi Club every Sunday, swimming lessons, and we did the same. I grew up with swimming lessons. I used to swim, still do. Like, it's really, I think it's a life skill.
No, I agree.
Like, my husband can't swim. So every time we go on holiday,
now you're going to have to be looking after the kids.
He's 6'5", and if he goes into this water will be at his ankles, he'll say, I'm trying to drown him. Like, and it's just like, bro, so if we go on a cruise, you can't jump in if our kid goes over. Like, it's all a bit mad. Like, it's a life skill.
Yeah,
learn how to swim.
I agree. But I say all that to say, that you're looking at Mary Wild because she went on a kayak, but you're not too far from kayak vibes. I
would do kayaking, but I'd have to be sure of the water.
I wouldn't do it on a waterfall.
Before. Yeah, I wouldn't do it on a waterfall. I've done it before, but it wasn't on a waterfall.
I think the waterfall is what took me out.
But you know what? These things, like, we were on this boat in a beautiful, scenic environment, Everyone's chilling on the boat, drinking. Yeah, that's all good. We drink on land. Just like jumping in, I got this immediate rush. Like,
I saw it in your face.
You do it. Like, you can't just sit there drinking you do it, and then
you can do both, innit?
You can't swim, then
I can't swim, so for me jumping in the water is suicide unless you was going to come and save me.
You would come
I don't know, man. I just don't really float like that.
Okay.
I was having this discussion with my sister 2 days ago. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's my bone density or if it's this ass, but I literally just don't float. Like, I just don't float.
Your ass is to me what my breasts are, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's flotation device. Your breasts are literally a flotation device. No wonder you float. If I hold on to you, me too, I'll float.
Okay, guys. Throw your kids in the water at 3 months. That's my advice.
I'm gonna do swimming lessons though. To be honest, I did do swimming lessons when I was in Manchester, and I can. Okay, if I say I can swim now, you're gonna be like, I can move from A to B. Yeah, my problem is that I don't know how to do the breathing thing. So when I run out of breath, that's when I have to stop swimming, and obviously that's not sustainable in a large body of water.
In fact, now that I'm wearing wigs again, I think I might go back to swimming. I just realised because
then you can just put your thing on, innit? Take the cornrows and thing. Anyway, where were we?
Back to this girl.
Back to Mary. So there's a few of them doing this kayaking thing. What's the difference between kayaking and canoeing?
You're asking the wrong person. This is a question for rich men in Oxford.
I'll Google that later. So the lady in front of her gets stuck, and so this forces her like over the main part of the waterfall.
And I was thinking, couldn't you just chill and wait till she's unstuck?
No, but it's flowing. You can't just put the brakes on the kayak. The water's flowing, no?
Like, scoot over to a place where...
Okay, girl. It shoulda, woulda, coulda. So her boat gets pinned, and then she's submerged under 10 feet of water, and she's like stuck within the boat.
And I could feel my bones breaking. I thought I should be screaming, but I wasn't.
She could feel her bones breaking, and she's an orthopedic surgeon, so I kind of believe her. And she thinks that she should be screaming because obviously her bones are breaking, but she feels no pain, and she says she feels more alive than she's ever felt. She can feel her spirit leaving her body, and she describes like being met by spirits who take her down a path which is covered with lots and lots of flowers, and she describes feeling like she was in heaven and having like an overwhelming sense of being home, right? Which is kind of like, okay, if this is death, then
sign me up.
Sign me up. Meanwhile, on Earth, people are looking for her, and so this guy, God bless his heart, he sees her life jacket. And so he goes to get the life jacket to give it to her husband, and I would have been like, okay, well, I mean, thank God he did anyway, because as he's like swimming towards it, he hits her body with his leg, and then he like pulls her out. So that's how he's able to locate her body. Her body is purple, bloated, her eyes are fixed, like she is dead.
Yeah, because she's been underwater for like 30 minutes at this point.
Yeah, she's dead, yeah. But she tells us she can see her body from outside her body, like, you know, when you're like floating up. Yeah. And the spiritual beings that she told us about before tell her to go back to Earth as her work isn't done. So she wakes up and they have to get her help. She didn't want to go. She didn't want to go. I hear my work is done. I'm an orthopedic spine surgeon. Like, what more is there for me to do in this life? Yeah. So then they have to now carry her, because imagine they're in some remote place in Chile. Yeah, they have to carry her out to the main road to try and get help. And it just so happened that as they got to the main road, there was an ambulance there. Yeah. Which is like amazing. So Mary makes a complete recovery. She's fine now, even though it takes a while. And then she has this like little throwaway line where she mentions that something happened to her son 10 years after her near-death experience. Yeah. But they tell us about that later on. So
I almost thought they weren't going to tell us.
I know, it's literally right at the end. I would have Googled it. So now we learn about near-death experiences from some specialists. One guy talks about how resuscitation techniques meant that people who normally would have just died will come back and tell people what they experienced. So now that they can actually do like, you know, staying alive, they can bring people back, and then those who would have just died can be like, oh shit, I was dead, and this is what happened when I was dead. Yeah.
Patients say they become aware of what's described as a tunnel, a passageway, a portal, and they go into this tunnel, and when they come out into a very brilliant, warm, loving, and accepting light.
People go into a tunnel, they come out to a warm light. This guy called Raymond Moody writes a book about it, and some people take it seriously, except this like English
of course,
this English neuropsychiatrist who thinks it's like a silly American thing until one of his patients has a near-death experience. So he decides to study them, and now he's been doing it for 40 years. The Brits are so like skeptical.
We're very like black and white, I think, as a people. And that's why often
there's no shades of grey here.
Yeah, and that's why oftentimes we find Americans like, because they're and they're excitable.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're willing to be like, oh, and we're kind of like relaxed, chill.
Yeah,
like,
chill.
I think like Brits, our first thing is to be like, no.
Yeah.
Americans' first thing is to be like, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
So typically the thought is that once the brain stops working, you lose consciousness because you die, right?
Yeah.
But near-death experiences prove that this just isn't the case. It can't be. So now we are in Seattle. We meet this woman called Kimberly Sharp, and she's meeting with other near-death experience survivors. She counsels them, and she does this because she also has had one. She says that after a near-death experience, take a shot every time I say near-death experience, people struggle with materialism, employment, marriages. Like, I actually understand it. Because,
I get it. Life becomes so futile.
So even me that hasn't had a near-death experience, I sometimes would just be like, what is the point of anything? What is anything? Like, so imagine dying and seeing like what death could be. And then you come back and I'm supposed to care about coming to this job at 9 o'clock for what? In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, because we're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die. And there's this one woman who struggles to talk about her experience to people, especially her husband, because she thinks that people are going to think that she's crazy, and because now it's almost like she's been radicalized, like she just doesn't think the way she thinks anymore because of her experience. And it's hard to go back to your normal life and expect people to be where you are, or like meet you where you now are. So we meet this guy called Jose Hernandez. He gets injured at work, and he gets treated with this anti-inflammatory drug, which turns out he was allergic to. Because when he was telling his story, I thought that the injury at work is what killed him.
I thought so as well.
But he was just allergic to the drug they used to treat him. His lungs stopped working, which obviously is peak, because then you die, which he did. So then he sees a tunnel as well, but he falls through it. It's kind of like the sunken place. So instead of walking through, as everyone says, he falls through. And he sees his father like welcoming him. His father is dead, by the way. So their relationship was really, he says, emotionally stunted, and he kind of sees this as a chance to make peace with his dad, and they hug. And like Mary Neal, he also, like Jose also wants to stay. Like, he wants to stay with his dad, but his dad is like, listen, it's not time yet, you need to go. What do you think about that?
About him seeing his dad, or his dad
about relatives. Yeah, about like seeing relatives and stuff.
I've heard a lot of people say, so like there's this TikTok I follow, and she's a palliative nurse. So she works in a hospice, and she says like a lot of times people will start to see loved ones that have died. I think so. I just find it odd that everybody seems to be going to heaven, because then what is the truth?
Where is the hell?
Okay, so but I think it's true. I think you do see loved ones. I would like to think that when my time came, I would see my granddad.
Your granddad, yeah.
I
thought about you a lot during watching this documentary.
I thought about me a lot too, and I thought about him, and I thought about like when he so he must have gone somewhere, and they were like, "Yeah, bro, it's time."
It's time, yeah.
And he must have seen.
Was like, "I'm tired."
Yeah, he must have seen, like, because I remember like I had a conversation with him. I was gonna say 2-3 years ago, but 2018 was not 2-3 years ago. I had a conversation with him, I think it was in 2018, and I was just like to him, like, it's been so many years since your mum died, like, do you miss her? He was like, of course, like, I still think about the stuff she told me, I still think about, like, her hair, her this, her smell, like, you know, I still wish she was here, even if she had lived a normal life, there's no way she would be alive now. But, so I guess for him, like, there were people that he wanted to see.
That he would have gone back to, that would have been welcoming him.
Yeah, like his mum, his dad, you know, his siblings. He had a cousin that died in the Civil War they assumed he died. He went to go and get food, never came back. Like, he had a brother that died in his arms. He was in, like, secondary school, was super sick. And my granddad went to go and get him, and by the time he got there, he died. And he also said to me that he knew his mum was dead.
People say that though. People have that.
He said that he was in school, and one of his friends, which funnily enough, his friends' kids are really good friends with my parents. But anyways, one of his friends came to him, and I said, "Was your mum sick?" He said, "No." But the way the guy walked over to him, he said he just looked at him and pointed at him and said, "My mother is dead." It's so weird, isn't it? Death is so crazy. But I keep saying that I kind of knew that he was going to die once they told us he had COVID. There was nothing, like, he wasn't even, I just knew, like, I had this feeling that was like, I don't think he's going to make it. Because I just immediately told us, I burst into tears. And this is off the back of us having COVID and being fine. Yeah. And my grandpa was super healthy. So for all intents and purposes, there was no reason for him to die. Yeah. I kind of just knew that he was going to go. So, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But I just think it must have been time when he got there and they were like, yeah, like, it's your time.
It's like the sadness of leaving here, but then the happiness of, like, that's what was really comforting about this documentary. It was like, we don't know what's on the other side, but like the people who have been there, it's kind of like, oh, actually, like, it's okay, beautiful. Yeah, there's a beauty in that, there's like a peace in that and stuff.
And I always knew that if there ever was a heaven, he would be there. But I think for all of us here, what we struggle with is the absence of that person. Yes, we know they're in a better place and they're happier, but
it still means my life now is not the same as it was.
Yeah.
And it's the permanence of it and like the change. And like, I don't know, death terrifies me because I haven't really lost anyone that I'm really, really close to. Yes, my grandparents are dead, but we weren't really boys like that, So like, I haven't really lost anyone that I'm really, really close to. And like, the older I get without it happening, the more I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting closer to it happening.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And even if, like, this documentary brings some sort of solace, like, okay, even if I lose someone close, they're going to somewhere better, they're going to people that they missed, it's still like, shit, what am I supposed to do here without said person?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, sometimes I look at my parents and I'm like, nah, like, like my dad started saying stuff a lot, like, oh, like, when we're not here, and
my mum had one of them chats with us as well.
Yeah, like, and when I look at my parents, I'm just like, so one day, what is life without my mum?
No, what do you mean? But then the alternative is that you go before them, and that is the worst possible.
I know it's the worst, but I would rather.
Oh, you're just a selfish bitch.
No, but honestly, what would life be without? It doesn't even make sense at all.
But then again, I keep seeing these like tweets and saying like, listen, people always document like other people, like you need to document which I do because that's just my vibe, but document yourself so that people can watch you and remember you when you're gone. Like for when you have kids and stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, watch my wedding video. That's it.
They can watch you and stuff like that. But yeah, it just terrifies me. Like, it just makes me think like, oh my god. Like my parents, my mum sat us down and had one of these chats, and I was like, is everything okay? And she was like, yeah, everything's fine. But like, I feel like these are just the conversations that we need to have while I'm here.
Which they are, but
which
still.
it is. It makes sense and like great, fine. But then also it's like, yeah, but you're not allowed to die. I hope you know that.
Like,
I'll be trying to tell her.
I'll give you to 100, then we can start thinking about it.
Yeah, then we can have a conversation.
And if all your friends are gone and you think, oh, blah blah blah, you've had your grandkids, da, 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 cool, I get that. But before that, you need to relax and go to the gym and stay fit.
Yeah.
So now we meet Bruce Grayson, who's a doctor. He says that near-death experiences may happen, but we don't necessarily know how they happen. He says it could be due to lack of oxygen to the brain. And this is what I thought. I thought that maybe, like, if you, like, as you're dying and you have less oxygen to the brain, like, you start, like, hallucinating or seeing, like, different things, and that is what you find. But he was like...
However, we know from decades of research what happens when you get lack of oxygen. People can become frightened, become belligerent, become terrified of what's happening to them, very much unlike the calm, consistent, almost blissful experience of a near-death experience.
So we learn about Pam Reynolds, yeah? Do you remember this bit?
Yeah. Because I don't know, this documentary feels like I've done it before. In fact, when I went to watch it, it said I was halfway through it. I think we were going to do it,
and then we did the reincarnation one because of the thread that we saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I was halfway through, and then, like, I was, oh, I remember this, and then they just got to a bit, I was, oh,
yeah, I don't
this
remember.
Is new.
Yeah.
So Pam Reynolds had a large brain aneurysm, and it was so bad that if it burst, she would die instantly. So they needed to do this operation to remove it, but in order to do it safely, she had to be clinically dead. So they had to slow her heart rate down and drain the blood from her head so that the aneurysm would shrink and be easier to remove, and then, like, less deadly, right? So they do it, right? And, like, it works. And she, even in that situation, has, like, the most blissful near-death experience. And bearing in mind, she has no blood going to her brain,
so because they drained it all.
She's clinically dead. So when we said, oh, maybe it's due to lack of oxygen in the brain, it can't be, because she had no oxygen in the brain for over an hour. And she was also able to describe what was happening to her, the tools that they used. There's no way that she would know. She wasn't conscious, is the point.
Her
she
eyes
wasn't conscious.
taped shut.
They were taped shut. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but she was, like, floating above and was able to see everything. There was, like, one tool, and she was like, yeah, it kind of looked like an electric toothbrush, and that literally is what it looked like. There were so many different things that she wouldn't have known.
But what I don't understand is, if you can drain someone of the blood and then basically make them clinically dead and bring them back again, how are people dying? Because how did they just turn her back on again? I mean, I guess that's more of a medical question, but don't you find it crazy that, like, they made her clinically dead and then they just made her undead?
Yeah, I mean, clinically dead, so technically she was alive. I don't know. Any doctors out there, let us know, the real ones. So
not Dr. Umar.
When's that documentary coming out about him? Because I need to see it.
I literally saw him. I just watched a TikTok of him this morning, and he was like, someone's like, Dr. Umar, why are you so fine? And he was like, well, now, are you a woman? I gotta make sure you're a woman, because you know how these things be. I gotta be careful. He was like, you could be one of them Transformers. And I was like, not Bumblebee.
What's that got to do with you being fine?
He doesn't want a trans person telling him he's
fine. To
fine.
find him attractive, okay.
Yeah. And I said, not Bumblebee.
Oh my God. I don't get that.
Oh, you don't get it?
No.
You've not watched Transformers before?
Yeah, I think I have, but not, like, properly.
Transformers is the yellow car. I have only watched one.
Is that the one with Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, I've only watched that one with Shia LaBeouf and Megan. No, and
the Stallion.
No, not Megan.
Oh, Fox, the original Megan.
Not Megan
which
Fox.
One?
It's not Megan. I've forgotten her name. She's the one that's dating that really short Jason Statham guy, Rosie Huntington.
Huntington Whiteley.
Yeah, that's one I watched.
Well, I thought she was just a pretty person.
Well, using the word actor loosely there. So yeah, but I just know Bumblebee's the main car.
Oh, fine, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, haha, I get it now. I'm laughing in retrospect. So I googled this lady, Pam Reynolds. She actually died in 2010 from heart failure.
For real this time?
Yeah, for real. She died. Yeah, she's gone. She because what that operation they did, I think, was like 2006 or something like that. She was only 53 when she died, but yeah, so like now she's like died. So
she seemed like she had ailments.
Mate, only 53, and by that time you had a make you dead, make you alive operation.
Crazy. That is crazy.
This is crazy. So now we're in Chicago. Whew, this one.
Shout out.
This lady called Stephanie Arnold.
She reminds me of me.
Yeah, in terms of the like foreboding hysterics. Sense of doom.
Yeah.
She has a near-death experience, but her story isn't so pleasant, right? So she has her first kid calm, no issues.
she's pregnant with her second kid, and she's told she has this condition called placenta previa, which is when the placenta embeds itself into the uterus, and it just means you can bleed out and the baby can die, right? And so as soon as they tell her, Stephanie's like, yeah, this is going to happen to me, right?
I feel like this would be me.
I know, but this is the thing, because we'll get into her story, but like, there are points in times where you think, oh, I just feel like it's going to happen to me. Like, how many times have you thought, oh, something bad is going to, I just know it's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. But because it doesn't happen, you discard those things. But then when it does happen, it's like, oh, I was right.
Sometimes I have really foreboding feelings where I'm just like, oh, something bad is going to happen. I just feel like something bad is going to happen, and nothing happens. And obviously, as a Christian, I don't believe that it wasn't that something bad was going to happen. I just think that whatever it was, God protected me from it, or it did happen, but he softened the blow, so I didn't realize it was that thing. That do you know what I'm trying to? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I get what you mean. But again, it's like there are not two realities where you can see what happened and what didn't happen. Do you get what I mean?
Of course.
So it's easy to be like, all right, cool, yeah, probably it was gonna happen, but it didn't, or maybe it happened to someone else instead, or someone I was near, or like maybe. Do you get what I mean? It's so hard because like we just don't know. Do you get what I mean? Like we just don't know. So Stephanie's man thinks that she's being a hysterical pregnant woman. Stephanie's man, okay, so when they're doing the interview, for the documentary, they're together. So like they're sitting together, and like she looks at him like she has the ick a lot of the time. Like, I don't know that she's over this situation that happened.
I can understand that because you've known me for X amount of years, and I'm not.
You can
a crazy
understand who
person.
The husband or Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Yeah, same.
You've known me for X amount of years. I'm not a crazy person. So this time I'm coming and I'm telling you this is something I'm feeling. You can't even back me here. It's not like, oh, I have a history of.
Oh, we don't know that. But also, I think that even if he thought that like, oh, she's just being like, nothing's gonna happen, yeah. If your woman, your wife, yeah, the mother of your child and soon to be child, yeah, is so engulfed by this fear or consumed by this like premonition that I've had, or this like foreboding sense of doom or whatever it is, yeah, like it is your job to calm me down, to alleviate me and alleviate those fears, and make it so that even if I'm scared something's going to happen, be there for me. Let me know that, okay, cool, if I need to go to the hospital, you are there right away. Like, so yeah, Stephanie's man, he is a data guy, so he's not really taking this thing seriously, and anyway, we'll get into that. So one day Stephanie's walking in the park and she feels like she's hemorrhaging, so she goes to the emergency room.
But that's not what happened, because it's more than that. She was walking in the park and she saw a dry fountain, and then
go on.
She said she had this like, I don't know, like illusion, or she
like
just
a premonition thing.
Yeah, water coming out of the fountain.
It was
then
blood,
it was
right?
Blood. Then it turned to blood.
Oh, was it water first? Then it turned into blood.
And then she was like, "I'm hemorrhaging," and she went to the hospital, which is like so fucking crazy.
And the thing is, one of the placenta previa thing, the fear or the danger is that you hemorrhage, right? So one could say, okay, yeah, well, because it's in your mind and that's what you know, of course that's what you're going to worry about. But then someone else could say, yeah, of course that's what you're going to fucking worry about.
Like, yeah, literally.
And if you have a feeling or you're worried, you're supposed to go and get seen. So anyway, she goes to the emergency room and they say that she's fine and it's a false alarm, right? And the husband is like, yeah, okay, cool, it's a false alarm. And Stephanie's like, no, this is a warning. Like, something is happening. Something is trying to tell me that this thing is going to happen.
The day that I go into labor, I was in the kitchen giving Adina breakfast. All of a sudden, blood went everywhere.
So then she starts bleeding one day, yeah. It's a calm day. She's like chilling, whatever, and she starts bleeding, yeah. This girl drives herself to the emergency room. Yeah, and it's so funny because I think she has like a nanny or something. And
the nanny was going to drive. And she's like,
and
no.
she was like, no.
I know that I'm not going to die by a car crash,
exactly.
So it's fine.
So I know I'm not going to die in a car accident, so let me go and then we can do this bleating later, yeah. So she drives herself to the hospital and she says that she's acutely aware that she was going to die, which must be terrifying.
Yeah.
Like feeling so strongly within yourself that actually like these are my last moments, like I'm actually going to die.
To the extent that she texts her husband saying like, you've made me the happiest woman in the world. Like, because she knew, like, that was the last message she sent him, so she knew, like, okay, let let him leave on a good note, like.
Who would you text first if you felt like you're gonna die, like, imminently?
Oof. I've got a family group chat, so it'll probably be the group chat.
I'll just chuck it in there.
Yeah, because there's no one from there that I could pick and say you first. Like,
but I just mean not in terms of like importance, but like who would your mind go to? Like, say you pick up your phone, like who would you like?
Is it in terms of I know I'm gonna die or I need help?
No, you know you're gonna die. But we'll talk about help later. That's interesting. Yeah, you know you're gonna die.
Probably okay, because even though he's not really good with his phone, but at least whenever he reads it, then
he will know. Oh damn, I should have replied.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be
That's
him.
what I think. I guess because like he's in the house with you. Do you get what I mean? Like
so
you go and tell everyone.
Yeah, that I'm gone. In terms of help, like if I needed imminent help, a lot of people just aren't good with their phones though. Because I was actually going to say you, but recently you're not good with your phone.
I'm great with my phone. What do you
mean? The last 2 times I've called you, there was even one time I called you and you said,
do you know what?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't
do you know what it is? I don't know if it's just my signal's acting crazy, because you're not the first person to say this to me. Yeah, you're not the first person. If you WhatsApp me, I'm on it, fam. I literally, because I have the little widget thing, so I actually check to see who has messaged me, and if I see like you or my sister or like my boyfriend or whatever, I will just open WhatsApp and check it.
Yeah, no, you're usually good. Like you were good before, so that's why I would say you. But then maybe just the last signal. 2 times, so it might be your signal. So I would say you, because I feel like
you'd do a backup though, just in case.
You'd be logical help. Second would be,
yeah, that's true actually.
You're very logical. Like you would be like, listen, this. Yeah. Even if you felt like, oh my god, you wouldn't, whatever. In terms of, I'm gonna come and sort your life out, probably just Kingsley. Like if I know if I called him and I was like lying in a ditch in Scotland, he would drive down immediately. But then he also is not good with his phone, so
it's true. When we tried to call, oh my days, guys, do you remember that episode where we tried to call Kingsley because we were trying to see if he had read Rich Dad Poor Dad? I asked him at Forenza's 30th at your barbecue. I was like to him, oh, I should have recorded it. I was like, oh, like, have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? He was like, yeah, of course I have.
I told you this guy, if there's 2 things in this world that are true, Kingsley's going to make you watch Paid in Full.
I love that movie, I can't lie.
He basically held a gun to my head, was like, nah, babe, you have to watch it. How can you not watch it? You have to watch it.
That's a great movie. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, but it's every hood nigga's like...
Yeah, it's a wet dream.
Yeah. And the second thing is, he's going to have read all of the finance bro books and force them down your throat. He's always trying to tell me, he's like, every time I finish talking, he's like, oh, you know what, it's just that you don't like to read these books. And I tried to tell you, these development books. Yeah. And then probably my dad as well. Okay. My dad is also very like, even though he's a bit he's a bit panicky as well. Like, he's emotional.
Like what's his name? Cam.
Yeah,
but
like, lower pitch. Like he'd be like, "Oh, are you okay? Oh, da, da, da," which might aggravate me because I'm also
a bit hysterical.
Yeah. I just didn't say my husband because he only recently moved to the country, so there's a limit to how much he can help me in these scenarios. But
you'd be surprised though.
I mean, he's good to talk to. Like, even when we were long distance, when I was like, if something was going on, like, I'd be on the phone to him, and it's good comfort. But
it's like, do this, do that.
Practicality. Those are the people I'd call.
I often think about like if I were kidnapped or like abducted or something, and like I had my phone for a couple of seconds. I always the scenario that always happens in my head is I would message my sister with my live location. We have like phrases that like if she messaged me, I would be like, this girl is in danger, because there's no fucking way that she would say this. And we have like, and I have one for her, so I would just message her that and then do my live location and pray that these men don't see my phone. And then I know that she would do, because she's also quite paranoid like me, so I think that she would be on it. I think my man would kind of be like, what? He'll probably call me. And it's like, babe, I can't talk right now. I'm in the back of the van, abducted. Yeah, do you mind?
Literally, that's how my husband would be. But
I think it'd be my sister. After my sister, it'd be my man.
Because one time I sent my sister a message, like a weird message, and then she responded. She was like, "Huh?" And then I was just like,
"What,
let me see." Yeah, let me see if she knows me. She came back. She was like, I sent another weird message, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I sent another message, and she started calling me. Then I was like, okay, cool.
Good. Yeah, but why did it take 3 times? But this is good because now she knows.
Yeah. So we came up with a safe word.
I feel like Chimelia would have been like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, Chimelia would have been like, from the beginning, she'd be like, "What's going on?" She probably would have called me immediately.
Yeah.
But me and Chasm have a safe word now. Like, so if we say it, then we know that
then you know. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Love that.
If it's my mum,
just don't get kidnapped.
My mum would probably read them. Oh my God, this woman here. Sometimes I will message her. I can see her online and she's airing my message. And then back when I used to live at home, I would go downstairs, go into her room, and she's on WhatsApp. And I said to her, but I can, you
but
saw
her
my message.
So she can see it come down.
She can see it come in. And she's like, we live in the same house. The other people that I don't live with, I need to respond to.
So about now that you've moved out?
No, she doesn't respond to my messages that quickly either.
She don't really.
And even if she did, she probably would just be like, wouldn't. Sometimes she just doesn't respond.
She'll leave you on red.
She'll say to me, I know you will call me at some point, so we can discuss it then.
So this is not a priority to me.
And my dad just does WhatsApp. You have to call my dad to check WhatsApp. He rarely checks WhatsApp.
Yeah, so I messaged him happy birthday and he didn't reply for like a year.
Yeah.
It was something crazy.
Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, there's no point.
So they do a C-section, and then her son is born, but then straight after that she flatlines. And she tells us how she can see outside her body, she can see her daughter, her man coming off the plane. Because this is another thing. Her man was abroad when this... Okay, not abroad. He was in New York, and they don't live in New York. Oh, they live in Chicago, yeah. So he was in New York for some business meeting or something. And it's like, I get that, you know. He has to work, he has to eat, whatever. But if my wife was just so...
My wife?
Concerned... I need to rewatch them films, man.
Honestly, like, Borat is unmatched.
It's actually just like so ridiculously stupid.
So ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Did you see that TikTok that I sent you about it was like, make me laugh and I give you $2. Did you watch it?
God.
And the kid was like, yeah, there was
it
like
just
a
reminds me
cat.
of that TikTok of where the kid is talking and you just slam the door. How do I shut up? Shut up, like, shut.
I was just crying. I literally was like, and the mum was there, like, enthusiastic the whole time. Literally. I was like, bro, so when you have kids, this is what you have to do.
Maybe something switches in, because I even asked my mum, I was like, when we were kids, like, did you ever just want to be like, oh, just shut up? She was like, all the time after school you come, you be telling me all your stories, showing me all your stupid pictures, and everything was so important to you, it wasn't making sense to me, but I just had to be smiling. I was like, I don't know. For me, I probably tell my kid, can you actually shut up? You're not making sense.
But the thing is, but your child has to feel like you actually give a fuck, because that's how they now start to like.
I do
not
give
say
a fuck,
anything.
but it just makes sense. So if you're coming and saying,
have you ever
and a dream and the shut the fuck up.
This is how I know I'm not ready for children, bro.
I cannot imagine coming back from a long day of work.
When I put my headphones on now, I'm the bad guy.
Literally, a long day of work, and someone's coming, Mom, have you ever, and then you were a fish, and the fish, and the cat. Shut up.
So, babe, right now, we're going to play quiet time.
Mommy's going to have adult grape juice, and you're going to sit over there and shut up.
Mommy juice. Whew, where was I? Oh, also there was a TikTok, while I remember, of a guy basically explaining his near-death experience and really just talking about how he found it really, really hard when he was back to like reckon with the fact that he was still here. And he said that a lot of people who have these experiences feel that way. And like this documentary, watching it, I was like, do you know what? I hear it completely. It's like a whole nother set of grief. It's like you're grieving your death,
leaving, and
you're still here. Crazy. But yeah, so Stephanie can see outside of her body. She's like in more than one place at once. Like her daughter's not in the operating room, but she can see her daughter. Her man is not there, but she can see him coming off the plane. She also sees dead family members. She can hear everything. She's dead for 37 seconds and then she's back. So her case is strange because of the premonitions that happened in the months before her death. But then since she had her near-death experience, the premonitions have gotten stronger, and it's really changed her. She says she's not happy-go-lucky anymore. Like she laughs less. She's a different person. Understandably. So now we're back with Mary Neal from the beginning. That was the lady in the kayak, right? And so when she died, the spirits that she met told her that her son was going to die unexpectedly. Now he was 9 at the time that she had her accident, and the spirits didn't give her any details, but she just knew that he wasn't going to live to be 18. She just had this like, kind of like Stephanie, like this just feeling, this like sense that like this guy's not going to live to be 18. So she doesn't tell anyone until a few days before his 18th birthday, and she tells him the son's name was Willie, and he's like, okay mum, like sure, cool, whatever.
Sure,
and he turns
Jan.
18, literally sure Jan. He makes it to his 18th birthday and she's kind of like, oh thank God, like cool, it's fine.
About 2 years later, Willie was at a ski camp in Maine. He was roller skiing, which is a cross-country, a dry land form of skiing, with a friend of his, and a car missed her and hit him and killed him instantly.
When it's your time, it's actually your time.
It's given Final Destination. Like, it's so sad. And Mary was like, even though she had a near-death experience and she felt the safety and the warmth and the pain, it doesn't protect her from grief, which is kind of like what we were saying before. Like, you know, you still have that sense of grief. And she says that she misses him. You know, obviously she knows that death isn't the end, but that is the physical loss, like, of your body. But like, he's not here, so that is also like really, really difficult. Yeah, which is really sad. Like, I think to lose a child is just like,
it's super sad, especially when they reach an age where their characters formed. You're starting to form serious memories.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying
like,
that it's not
hopes
sad
and
to
dreams
lose
for them.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not sad to lose a baby. Of course it is, but
because of the potential of what could have been, and you'll never know. It's sad on that front.
But like, when you know that person, it's different, man.
Yeah, I think it's so sad. It's so sad. But yeah, now it's time for
the real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime.
So at the end, there was this bit we didn't talk about, but Jose was painting, yeah. But before he was painting, he was walking down the street and he was wearing this jacket, yeah. And it had these tassels on it, but not the tassels you think. So it kind of looked like the string you put on Christmas trees, but
like
thicker. Tinsel, that's the word I'm looking for. And he had it was just stuck to the back. And as he was like walking, his hair was flowing, the tinsels were flowing. It was just like, okay, I get it. Like, he survived death, but okay.
Like, let's dress well in life.
Yeah, in life, you still need to be remembered. Is this how you want to be eulogized? So
yeah,
that was
the real crime, I think, was Stephanie's man, whose name is Jonathan.
Yeah.
Because by the end of it, like, he's like, oh, he believes her, but it's just annoyed that it took me so long. Stephanie puts it perfectly.
It took me dying.
Yeah, it literally took me dying. Stephanie is like, you know, he's the one person that she needed to believe her. Like, all he had to do, like, of everyone that, like, you are the father of the child, you're with me all the time. Like, I just needed you to believe me and be there. I just don't think he took it he took it seriously enough. And he kept saying, oh yeah, data and numbers and blah blah blah. Oh, shut the fuck up, Jonathan, man. But yeah, next, what are we doing?
Gay guys in a sauna.
So it's called Secrets of a Gay Sauna.
Okay. Well.
So I saw this clip on Twitter, yeah, and I was like, I need to find this documentary, yeah. And I wasn't even going to cover it. I was like, let me send it to friends just for something to watch, because I was like, oh, it'll just be a fun watch, yeah. And then my other friend sent it to me and was like, oh my days, you guys need to cover this documentary. And I was like, the universe has spoken.
It has spoken.
So we're going to cover it. It gives very much the same vibes as the very British Brothel, one of the first episodes that we did. I think it's like in the 20s. I'll put the link in the show notes. So yeah, it will be a nice cute one, less heavy than this right now that we've just done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll put the trailer at the end, and that's it. In the meantime, between time, you can find us
Instagram, TikTok,
everywhere,
Twitter, email. You know,
Two Girls on Doc, Two Girls on Doc podcast on TikTok, 2girlsondoc@gmail.com. And if you just rate us 5 stars, if you're still here.
Yeah, please do.
Thanks, appreciate ya. Have a great day, week, evening, whatever. Bye.
Bye.
On the side streets of towns and cities across the country, there is a secret world. A world with its own rules.
I pushed it on, mate.
And its own rituals. Only men are welcome. And they come here for one reason. To have sex. With strangers.
Come on, man. Sit down.
In this film, we enter the infamous world of the gay sauna for the very first time.
Yeah, shit, I'm sorry.
Meeting the men who come here for sexual adventures.
The reasons you get orgies at a gay bath is because there is no woman there to say no.
And the workers who clear up after them.
There's sperm everywhere. One puts one's head there and legs up there. If you'd like to get your kit off, I'll show you.
as we find out what really happens in a gay sauna.